Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lana. I have not been consistent with filming and posting videos. Many things are happening in my life. I am busy. I'm going through stuff, okay? But I did want to film a May Finds video because this series is just so fun to film because it doesn't really require much from me, and I feel like you get to hear about many cool books that you may not have heard of before, and it's just an all-around good time. So if this is your first finds video on my channel, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to open Goodreads and look at all the books that I added to my TBR, my want to read pile on Goodreads. These are not necessarily books that I want to read soon or maybe ever. It's just books that caught my attention and I don't want to lose them. I may have heard about some of these books from someone else's channel on BookTube, maybe on Instagram, maybe somewhere else. It really varies, and let's get into it. So the first book that I added in May is Counting Down With You, which made me pause for a second because I enjoy YA. I've enjoyed many YA romances in the past, but as time goes on, I feel like I reach for them less and less, and most reasons why I would go for a YA romance would be if there's something in the story, an element that I'm interested in. And I don't remember anything about this book, so let's see what that could have been. So the genres are romance, contemporary, young adult fiction. A reserved Bangladeshi teenager has 28 days to make the biggest decision of her life after agreeing to fake date her school's resident bad boy. How do you make 1 month a lifetime? That makes so much more sense. I love the fake dating trope. This is why I added it. Yes! Tutoring the school's resident bad boy was already crossing a line. Pretending to date him, out of the question. I love it. And this book came out May 4th this year. Next is She Who Became the Sun. This is a fantasy, historical fiction, LGBT, historical adult. And this book is coming out in July this year. Mulan meets the Song of Achilles in Shelley Parker Chan's She Who Became the Sun, a bold, queer, and lyrical reimagining of the rise of the founding emperor of the Ming Dynasty from an amazing new voice in literary fantasy. Mulan meets the Song of Achilles. Yes, and the fact that this book has the Amrita stamp of approval means a lot to me. I trust Amrita with these things. Next book is The Nothing Men. This came out in August last year. Thriller, mystery, fiction, crime, suspense, adult. Where did I hear about this book? Oh, NerdyNatReads! Yes, she mentioned it in a wrap-up and she really enjoyed it. At the age of 12, Eve Black was the only member of her family to survive an encounter with serial attacker, the Nothing Man. Now an adult, she's obsessed with identifying the man who destroyed her life. Supermarket security guard Jim Doyle has just started reading The Nothing Man, the true crime memoir Eve has written about her efforts to track down her family's killer. As he turns each page, his rage grows, because Jim's not just interested about reading about the Nothing Man. He is the Nothing Man. Jim soon begins to realize how dangerously close Eve is getting to the truth. He knows she won't give up until she finds him. He has no choice but to stop her first. I love true crime. This book just sounds like perfect for me because it has the true crime element mixed with obviously fiction and suspense. Yes. Oh, and also I trust Nat with the thriller recommendations. Next is a book that I don't think has been translated into English. No, that's not true. People have reviewed this book in English, which means they read it in English. And I think in English it's called Murder in the Crooked House. I saw it in the supermarket and I was intrigued because on the cover you can see the like plan of the room. I think it is just the room. I can't see very well from here. And it's supposed to be like a closed room mystery. I'm pretty sure there is no blurb. There is no information on Goodreads about this book. Yeah, it's about a detective who's trying to uncover the killer of in a closed room murder mystery. Words are hard today. The genres listed are mystery fiction, Japan, crime, Japanese literature, detective. Next is As the Wicked Watch by Tamron Hall. No genres listed. Oh, only mystery. And this is supposed to come out in October 26th. Why do I know this? Oh my god, yes, okay, I remembered. Tamron Hall is a Emmy Award winning journalist and she was on one of my favorite podcasts, The Lady Gang, and it was a very fun episode and she promoted her book. As many people who come on the podcast to promote books, they're usually memoirs or self-help, and she was like, no, I wrote like a mystery thriller. And I was like, I need to read this book. I really liked her interview, the way she spoke. I liked her as a person. So I'm very excited to see if her book will be any good. So this is the first in a thrilling new series in which a reporter unravels the disturbing mystery around the deaths of two black girls, the work of a serial killer terrorizing Chicago. When crime reporter Jordan Manning leaves her hometown in Texas to take a job at a television station in Chicago, she's one step closer to her dream, a coveted anchor chair on a national network. From her time reporting in Texas, she's sure she has covered the vilest of human behaviors, but nothing has prepared her for Chicago. You see, Jordan is that rare breed of journalist who can navigate a crime scene as well as she can a newsroom, often noticing what others tend to miss. Again and again, she's called to cover the murders of black females, many of them sexually assaulted, most brutalized, and all of them quickly forgotten. I really hope that this book is as good as it sounds. Next, Your Body, Your Voice, the key to natural singing and speaking. Learn how to use your voice naturally, powerfully, and effortlessly by understanding how it works. I have been recommended this book. I don't think I need to explain why this book is here. I am a singer, I teach singing, and I also have been reading another book by this author, because this book was not available and I actually ordered it. So Your Body, Your Voice should arrive by August, hopefully. But I've been reading his other book called Neurodynamics, and this book is all about healthy muscles and how to use your body efficiently and move effortlessly. It's very fun. There's a lot of like theory. I'm learning so much about tissues. It's a lot of fun. If you're a nerd like me, I recommend his books. Next is All Our Hidden Gifts. I'm pretty sure, just based on the cover, I saw this on Instagram. The genres are fantasy, young adults, paranormal, LGBT, witches. And this came out this week, June 8th. Nice. I definitely have not seen this on Booktube, but also I've not really been in the mood for Booktube, so I've not been watching videos pretty much at all recently. But I've been on Instagram. I may be wrong, but I want to say that I saw promotional stuff with like tarot cards and this book. And the name that comes to mind is Jean Bookish Thoughts, that she had some kind of promotional post. If she did, I'll put it here if it's not gone. Anyway, Maeve's strangely astute tarot readings make her the talk of the school until a classmate draws a chilling and unfamiliar card and then disappears. Yes, tarot cards! After Maeve finds a pack of tarot cards while cleaning out a closet during her in-school suspension, she quickly becomes the most sought-after diviner at St. Bernadette's Catholic School. But when Maeve's ex-best friend Lily draws an unsettling card called the Housekeeper that Maeve has never seen before, the session devolves into a heated argument that ends with Maeve wishing aloud that Lily would disappear. When Lily isn't at school the next Monday, Maeve learns her ex-friend has vanished without trace. Shunned by her classmates and struggling to preserve a fledgling romance with Lily's gender-fluid sibling Ro, Maeve must dig deep into her connection with the cards to search for clues the police cannot find, even if they lead to the terrifying housekeeper herself. Set in an Irish town where the church's tight hold has loosened and new freedoms are trying to take root, this sharply contemporary story is witty, gripping, and tinged with mysticism. Wait a second. This is written by Caroline O'Donoghue, who's an Irish author. Oh, so this is an Irish book set in Ireland. How awesome. And it's about tarot cards. I am a fan of tarot cards. I am a fan of mysticism. I'm a fan of a mystery. Next book, The Plot. Genres: fiction, thriller, mystery, suspense. Books about books. Ooh. And this came out in May 11th of this year. The way I heard about it was definitely from Gabby Reads. She mentioned it in one of her vlogs. She gave it 5 stars, which is high rating for Gabby. And Gabby reads a lot of mystery thrillers, and I, for the most part, trust her. But there are elements that I know she enjoys in books that I don't. So hopefully this will be a good fit for me. I don't know what this is about. Let's see. Jacob Finch Bonner was once a promising young novelist with a respectably published first book. Today he's teaching a third-rate MFA program and struggling to maintain what's left of his self-respect. He hasn't written, let alone published, anything decent in years. When Evan Parker, his most arrogant student, announces he doesn't need Jake's help because the plot of his book, In Progress, is a sure thing, Jake is prepared to dismiss the boast as typical amateur narcissism. But then he hears the plot. Jake returns to the downward trajectory of his own career and braces himself for the supernova publication of Evan Parker's first novel, but it never comes. When he discovers that his former student has died, presumably without ever completing his book, Jake does what any self-respecting writer would do with a story like that, a story that absolutely needs to be told. Oh, I love this. It sounds so good. The trope of one writer stealing the story of another has been used a lot, and all the times that I've heard it, I've seen it in movies or I read it in books, I enjoyed it. So hopefully this will be a win for me too. Next is Off the Record by Cameron Garrett. This one has been around on Instagram a lot, and I don't remember exactly whose post inspired me to go on Goodreads and add it on my own list. But I did. Genres: contemporary, young adult, LGBT, fiction, feminism. So this came out in May this year. I think I remember what this is about. Let's check. The behind-the-scenes access of Almost Famous meets the searing revelations of Me Too in this story of a teen journalist who uncovers the scandal of the decade. So it's about a 17-year-old Josie Wright, who is a writer. She wins a contest to write a celebrity profile for Deep Focus magazine. Soon Josie is jetting off on a multi-city tour, rubbing elbows with sparkly celebrities, frenetic handlers, stone-faced producers, and eccentric stylists. She even finds herself catching feelings for the subject of her profile, dazzling young newcomer Marius Canay. Josie's world is expanding so rapidly she doesn't know whether she's flying or falling. But when a young actress lets her in on a terrible secret, the answer is clear. She's in over her head. One woman's account leads to another and another. Josie wants to expose the men responsible, but she's reluctant to speak up, unsure if this is her story to tell. What if she lets down the women who have entrusted her with their secrets? From the author of Full Disclosure, this is a moving testament to the Me Too movement and all the ways women stand up for each other. It sounds like this book is going to be absolutely incredible. As I'm editing this video, I was on Instagram and I saw that Amber, who also has a booktube and bookstagram, she, as you can see, posted a story about this book and she seems to really enjoy it. So there you go. Next, A Master of Gin, another book that has the Amrita stamp of approval on. So the genres are fantasy, historical fiction, steampunk, which, to be honest, I don't fully understand what that means, but okay. Fiction, mystery, science fiction, historical, LGBT. Cairo, 1912. Though Fatma is the youngest woman working for the Ministry of Alchemy, Enchantments, and Supernatural Entities, she's certainly not a rookie, especially after preventing the destruction of the universe last summer. Yikes. So when someone murders a secret brotherhood dedicated to one of the most famous men in history, Al-Jahiz, Agent Fatma is called onto the case. Alongside her ministry colleagues and her clever girlfriend, Sidi, Agent Fatma must unravel the mystery behind this impostor to restore peace to the city or face the possibility he could be exactly who he seems. This book, to me, sounds like something I would either love or not hate, but just not be interested at all. And after hearing Amrita speak so much about this book and how much she loved this book, I am leaning towards this book will make me fall in love with it. So hopefully this will happen. I'm excited. It came out in May this year. Next is Winter's Orbit. You know what? This video is dedicated to Amrita By The Book. Check out her channel. I've mentioned her name so many times because so many books are connected to her. This book was recommended by her. So I did a video recently about all the elements in books that I don't enjoy reading about, things that I just don't feel drawn towards. And one of those things was science fiction, anything about, you know, space. And in that video, I asked for recommendations of books that have those elements that I'm not drawn to, but that may also have things that I really enjoy reading about. And that way I would challenge myself and see if there are books that have those elements that I might enjoy. And Amrita recommended Winter's Orbit by Everida Maxwell. This is science fiction, romance, LGBT, queer, fantasy, adult. My voice is gone. I'm a big fan of male romances, and hopefully this will work for me. Let's see what this is about. While the Iskat Empire has long dominated the system through treaties and political alliances, several planets, including Thea, have begun to chafe under Iskat's rule. When tragedy befalls Imperial Prince Tom, his Thean widower Jainan is rushed into an arranged marriage with Tom's cousin, the disreputable Kiem, in a bid to keep the rising hostilities between the two worlds under control. But when it comes to light that Prince Tom's death may not have been an accident and that Jainan himself may be a suspect, the unlikely pair must overcome their misgivings and learn to trust one another as they navigate the perils of the Iskat court, try to solve a murder, and prevent an interplanetary war, all while dealing with their own growing feelings for each other. So, okay, the fact that there are different planets, there's an interplanetary war, I'm not interested in that. But what we have here is two people who are an unlikely pair brought together, slowly falling in love. This may be, if not enemies to lovers, but people who don't really care about each other to lovers, which is great. There is a murder mystery. They're trying to solve a murder, and I think those two things might just make this book work for me. So I'm definitely planning to get to this book sometime soon. Next is the second book in the Fence novel series. It's called Fence Disarmed. Fence originally is a graphic novel which talks about a fencing team within a boarding school, and it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. And when the graphic novel started doing really well, they also decided to do a novel, which is the same setting, the same characters, but it doesn't really interfere with the Fence graphic novel timeline. And those novels were written by Sarah Rees Brennan, who I personally adore because she wrote In Other Lands, which is one of my favorite books ever. She's an Irish writer. She's so funny and so great. And so the first book in the Fence novel series came out last year, I'm pretty sure. Well, I can't say that I loved that book. Kind of had to adapt my expectations, and By the end of it, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the kind of book that I would recommend for anybody. And out of nowhere, the second book in the novel series came out. I did not know there would be more than one novel, so I'm kind of excited. I wonder if with the second novel, my reading experience will be smoother because I kind of know what to expect now. We'll see. Next is The Ones We're Meant to Find, which came out in May. The genres are young adult, science fiction, mystery. Listen, I usually stay away from science fiction and dystopian novels, but I've been hearing so much about this book and it sounds like something I would really enjoy. And since it just came out, I'm hoping to hear more and more people talk about it so that I get different perspectives and see if this book is something that I would enjoy or not. So, you know, I keep it in my want to read on Goodreads to have it there and to go back to it in some time and see if I'm still interested. C has been trapped on an abandoned island for 3 years without any recollection of how she arrived or memories from her life prior. All she knows is that somewhere out there beyond the horizon, she has a sister named Kay, and it's up to C to cross the ocean to find her. In a world apart, 16-year-old STEM prodigy Casey Mizuhara lives in an eco city built for people who protected the planet and now need protecting from it. With natural disasters on the rise due to climate change, eco cities provide clean air, water, and shelter. The residents in exchange must spend at least a third of their time in stasis pods, conducting business virtually whenever possible to reduce their environmental footprint. While Casey, an introvert and loner, doesn't mind the lifestyle, her sister Celia hated it. Popular and lovable, Celia much prefers the outside world, but no one could have predicted that Celia would take a boat out to sea, never to return. Now it's been 3 months since Celia's disappearance and Casey has given up hope. Logic says that her sister must be dead, but nevertheless, she decides to retrace Celia's last steps. Where they'll lead her, she does not know. Her sister was full of secrets, but Casey has a secret of her own. It sounds so good. The idea of an eco city, the idea of climate change being part of the conversation, part of the plot, having a mystery on both sides, because it sounds like Celia has no memory of how she got to the island. And on the other hand, there's Casey who's trying to find her sister. Like, these are elements that I like, so I think this book will work for me, but I do want to hear more reviews on it. And the last book is We Should All Be Millionaires, a woman's guide to earning more, building wealth, and gaining economic power. And this is by Rachel Rogers. So Rachel was actually, again, on one of my favorite podcasts, Lady Gang podcast, and she talked about this book. She talked about money. She talked about statistics around women and money. They have like a long format of episodes and a shorter one, and she was on a short episode. And within that short episode, I felt so inspired, so motivated. I texted my friend saying, you should go listen to this episode because it blew my mind. Like, the things that she said seemed so obvious, but just hearing her say it was so incredible. And I have been looking for books about money, not necessarily books that tell you how to handle money and that explain to you some financial stuff. It's more about your relationship with money, the way you think about money, how does that influence your actual behavior around money and how you handle it. And it's so interesting, and I am very excited about this book. It came out in May, and the short blurb is, while 90% of the world's millionaires are men, only 10% are women, making it difficult for women to wield the economic power that will create lasting equality. Rachel Rogers, founder of Hello 7, a company that coaches women in scaling their businesses and their lives to 7 figures, says it's time for a change. Women deserve the economic power and equality that comes with wealth, and we all have it in us to be millionaires. Whatever is currently stopping you from having 7 figures in the bank, whether it is doubt, feeling overwhelmed, imposter syndrome, trying too many things, or simply not knowing where to begin, this book shows you how to clear every obstacle in your way. And these are all the books that I added to my list in May. I hope you found something here, at least one book that you felt excited about. And if that happened, let me know which book you're most excited in this list about. I am now confusing myself. I've been talking for too long. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video.